Today on the Topping Show, Jimmy Kimmel cries and Kathy Griffith has a meltdown after the Trump victory. The Bellwether curve shows the 2020 election being the only outlier. New York City Mayor is ending the food vouchers for illegals. Nissan to cut about 9,000 jobs as well as the CEO pay. Ford F-150 Lightning sales are down about 50%. And Optics Planet, well, the customer service nosedives yet again. All of that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase. Yes, you can in fact mount it to a standard AR-15 Picatinny rail, as all awesome accessories can be done. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click that button that says flamethrower to learn more. Lastly, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Nissan to cut 9,000 jobs as well as the CEO pay. And yet they have the audacity to kill the Nissan GTR. How could they? One of the few good things they make, they're killing. Though they still make the 400Z. If it wasn't for those 10 to 20 to 30 grand markups by the dealerships, I think those things would be selling by hotcakes. I mean, it's the only twin turbo stick shift on the market right now, V6. And yet, the dealerships, I think, are destroying it. I partially digress, though. I'm sorry, I'm about to show you an image for this article about the segment of the show, but you might be so viscerally disgusted because the Nissan SUV, which arguably some might say is more appealing than my face, but, well, the audience decide. Now, here you can see the, oh gosh, yeah. All those terrible SUVs Nissan attempts to sell, which, I mean, they might sell a couple. Not that many, though. I only partially kid. Now, this comes to us thanks to LinkedIn, specifically Rob Sachs, who's a writer over there. Now, Rob says, quote, Nissan is slashing 9,000 jobs and reducing global production by 20% in response to weak sales in the U.S. and China. CEO Makoto Uchida is also agreed to take a 50% pay cut after the Japanese car makers' operating profits. Oh my god. How does he still have a job? we thought Stellantis was bad, which again, that's the parent company behind Dodge, Jeep, and Chrysler in the US. That's what they're known for. And 18 people buy Fiat. Only kidding. 19 people bought them last quarter. But in all seriousness, Stellantis is in trouble because they got about 50% drop in sales and I think it's 40% drop in profits, which again, that is awful. Nissan, they're, again, it's almost flabbergasted by how bad this is. They say the Japanese automakers' operating profit dropped by 90% in the first half of the fiscal year, down to $214 million, which, again, that sounds like a lot, but again, in order to just do research development on a new vehicle, you're talking about billion-dollar gambles. That's why, unfortunately, we see less and less risk that automakers are taking in terms of making unique, cool vehicles past couple of years, especially. And they say, quote, Nissan has been struggling to adapt to changes in consumer demand for electric and hybrid vehicles in its key markets. The company will use its savings to boost its EV lineup in China. And hybrid in the US, which, Nissan, that's the dumbest thing we've ever done. Which is saying something, because the bar is quite low for all the bad decisions they've made. And don't get me wrong, Nissan makes some really cool vehicles throughout the years. If I won the lottery, I'd probably have a Nissan 400Z in my garage. I love that thing. A fun stick shift. Those are rare and rare these days. I think that's awesome. But they want to compete in China. That's the dumbest thing you can do, Nissan. You're not going to win. It's too competitive. BYD and Tesla are dominating the Chinese market for EVs. And even Tesla is starting to get their tail between their legs in regards to BYD, which granted, they basically just knock off technology like they do in China. But again, BYD is ramping up their EV sales and beat Tesla for the first time. And that's their backyard. I don't see Nissan beating any company in China. I think that's a terrible investment. They should continue to focus on North America, which is one of the most profitable, biggest markets on the planet. I do agree with that. Now, they say they want to focus on EVs again, which, again, the fastest growing customer segment in terms of people, what they want in the US, has been hybrids, which, granted, I'm not a fan because they only have two pedals, but I understand some people enjoy the appeal and they don't care about a battery dying, making the car near worthless a couple years later, but I partially digress. And now, in terms of dropping his pay, that's just good for optics. I love debating these things, especially on LinkedIn when everyone always so angry about, oh my gosh, the CEO makes so much money. Like, look how much the CEO of GM made and Ford especially when they go in with the negotiations with the United Auto Workers with that contract, as they do every 4 years on average. Well, it's one of those things where if you actually break it down, it's pretty negligible, especially when it comes to the per person, or someone saying, oh yeah, if the CEO, GM made nothing, everyone would be so much better off. And I took a calculator out and I go, well, before the government steals half of it with taxes, each employee would get about, what is it, $165 more per year. Now, granted, again, the government's going to steal about half of that because of taxes. So every employee would get about $60. And again, so I mean, I understand it. I think they're doing this mainly for optics. And again, for optics, the average person will say, oh yeah, the CEO's making sacrifices. I believe that. I think I'm one of those fans where I think CEOs should get a majority of their compensation in stock to incentivize them to do better for the company, because then obviously their network increases. But times are tough. Now, granted, every automaker should thank God Trump is back in office, because he's going to get rid of the EV mandates and all these draconian measures that kneecap automakers, because then they might have a fighting chance. If the world goes EV, BYD is going to kill everything. And with Nissan, another issue they have is, well, number one thing, reliability. The CVT transmission is such trash that destroyed the reputation for decades, I think. Especially the Nissan Altima. Now, I do enjoy the hilarious BAE Energy, and you have a whole Facebook page is dedicated to the persona of the Altima driver. But yeah, in terms of reliability, that's why no one buys a Nissan. If you have a Pulse and you have no credit, then Nissan's great, because again, their credit department, they will finance anything. That's where they really shine, for better or worse. So again, it'll be interesting to see Nissan make these moves, but I don't think these are the right. Again, I understand the job cuts, but in terms of focusing on where they're pushing the business, I mean, again, I would forget about China, or as Trump would say, China, and I'd focus much more on the U.S., put more money into hybrids, and put more money into ICE engines, and just, again, Nissan, just fix that one thing, reliability. That's what I do. That's just my 3 cents. It used to be 2 cents, but 40-year hyperinflation got to be 3 cents. But let me know in the comments, do you even know anyone who's bought Nissan in your lifetime? I know one person, and she still has it to this day. I guess she enjoys it, but no, I do have one friend who bought the truck. Everyone's got that one weird friend who doesn't buy like a major truck manufacturer. And again, that truck's been pretty good for him, interestingly enough. But let me know, do you know anyone who actually bought a Nissan? Would you ever buy a Nissan yourself? Because as always, let me know, because I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have Ford F-150 Lightning sales down 50%, which also known as terrible. And for those who went to U.S. public schools, that's half. I jest, because I also went to public schools. Though these days I just shudder in fear in terms of the things that you see teachers actually promulgating these days. But I partially digress, another topic for another time, perhaps. Now, this comes to us thanks to EnginePetrol.com, specifically Ian Sawyer, who's a writer over there. And he says, quote, Nissan, sorry, I was just talking about Nissan, brain fart. If you click that subscribe button, it may very well help with my speaking aptitudes. I have a theory. When I first started the show, basically no one tuned in, had like maybe 3 subscribers, family members, really. But as I slowly, and my speaking back then was terrible, spoke even faster than now, and stumbled over my words worse than Joe Biden trying to climb upstairs. But as I slowly but surely gain more subscribers, I become more and more articulate. Granted, it is a low bar to be good enough, but if you do me a favor, click that button, I will someday make it through an entire episode speaking perfectly, slowly, articulately, and energetically. So if you do that, I greatly appreciate it. Now, again, me attempting to speak English, which is my first language as well, but say, quote, Ford F-150 Lightning sales dropped 50% in October. Customers scaled back on the F-150 Lightning purchases, prompting Ford to reduce production. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And again, sorry about the eyesore. You're going to see the Ford F-150 Lightning, which, yeah, it's not great. Now, they say, quote, Ford Ford had high expectations for next generation of EVs. I laugh because they lost $132,000 per EV sold Q3, also known as terrible. I think they lost $136,000 per EV Q2, so slightly better, but still a long way to go, which isn't easy for an EV. Haha, range pun. They say, quote, this was underscored by an 8.3% drop in EV sales compared to October last year. The biggest setback came from the Ford F-150 Lightning, which plummeted sales by 49.8%. Given the sharp decline, it's unsurprising that Ford has recently announced plans for a temporary production pause for later this month, extending into early next year, which, yeah, that's something you really rarely ever see. We're going to shut down production for a couple months. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That means the Ford F-150 Lightning is on the dealer lots. They're starting to collect copious amounts of dust. Now they say, quote, while buyers stepped away from the electric Ford F-150, some of them are gravitating towards the Mustang E-Mach, which sales climbed by 21.3%. Are they inebriated with Bud Light? People are buying the Mustang E-Mach. No relation to the real Mustang with the V8 and a stick shift, which all cars should have by default anyway. They say this upward trend might continue as Ford recently announced pricings of $36,000, $495 for the 2025 model, $3,500 less than the previous version. That's great. Although still an EV, so still disposable, so have fun with that battery down the road, but I partially digress. They also know that people are buying. How are business owners buying this? They're noticing that the Ford e-Transit sales surged by 181.1%. Now, granted, a wise man, well, one of the few things I did learn in college, I could count them on probably one hand, a business statistics professor did always propagate, know your sample size. Very true. So again, it sounds like a lot. They went up by 181.1%, but that means they sold 1,088 units. So again, that's, and every major automotive company has those big boxy vehicles for business owners, and tradesmen. And they're great, but yeah, it's so funny. 1,088 units, which again, if my business needed an actual vehicle, which we do some IT recycle projects where, it's so infrequent, you just borrow a truck or something smaller. If we actually needed something on a more high frequency basis, I would never buy an EV, especially the IT recycle. That stuff weighs a lot. So you'd be able to tow it maybe 12 feet. I'm like partially exaggerating. Now, they continue to say, quote, while Ford didn't detail hybrid sales, by number, the automaker reported a 38.5% increase in hybrid sales in October, surpassing conventional model sales, which rose 14% to 148,268 units. Though they did not break down which specific hybrids are doing the best, which, again, Toyota called it right. I'm not a big fan of hybrids. Obviously, they only have two pedals. Obviously, no manual transmission, so it's boring as hell to me. But Toyota read the room right. They invested more into hybrid technology than any other automotive manufacturer in the past 24 months. And I think it's going to reap dividends. So it'll be interesting to see as we get into the new calendar year, maybe interest rates drops, especially for auto sales. Will that help bolster EVs? Well, Trump, a lot of speculation with the automotive industry because it's so highly regulated. Sorry. Speaking way too fast, appreciate the feedback. It's something I'm constantly working on, believe it or not. Getting back to me, attempting to speak slowly. And again, appreciate all the feedback to make the show better. There's so much speculation in the automotive community right now in terms of what Trump just gets rid of all these EV subsidies, so you no longer get the $7,500 kickback from the government. How might that influence the market? I'm really skeptical in terms of, I'm not sure how many people would actually pull the trigger if they didn't have that huge subsidy. But I don't know. EV trucks are one of those things where you can't really tow. I know majority of trucks aren't really towing anyway, but yeah, I think it's just that, not just perception, but the real thing of the range anxiety with trucks. That's why I'm so skeptical about the mass adaptation of EV trucks in general, even if a lot of them are pavement queens. But let me know in the comments. Do you think that Ford F-150 Lightning will, explode in sales in 2025? Or do you think the excitement, all the early adopters already got one in the driveway by now? Do you think it's going to start just downtrending crazy perpetually? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the culture part of the podcast, you have Jimmy Kimmel crying after the election as the Trump Derangement Syndrome is off the charts. Now, this is perhaps one of the most hilarious and satisfying things we've seen from the mainstream media in many years. So I guess we do have to thank Jimmy Kimmel for his mental breakdown here. Now, this comes from those who lives on TikTok, in which she says, quote, Jimmy Kimmel is holding back actual tears, LMFAO. Oh. Very long one. I didn't know that was a new saying now. And here you can see he is tearing up. Now, the only thing Jimmy Kimmel has ever done right in his life, which he did suit up. I'll give him some credit. He, in all honesty, someone else probably dressed him up and picked out that wardrobe. However, he did do one thing right. And I guess he does get an award. If you want to be something, be the best at something, he perhaps is the most insufferable late night talk show host. That is certainly an accolade. I'm not sure if I would want that, but it's about 45 seconds long. But we'll go ahead and he already has those tears in his eyes. Oh, here we go.
Let's be honest, it was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go.
Nope, my family was ecstatic.
For healthcare, for our climate, for science, for journalism, for justice, for free speech. It was
for free speech. He's cheering for the party that actively, and we know it's thanks to the Twitter files, the government censored millions of Americans on social media. Yeah, it's always the pot calling the kettle black. Or actually, no, in this case, just get the age-old saying with the phrase of you accuse your enemies of what you yourself are doing. So it's halfway done, though. We're almost done with the insufferableness of Jimmy Kimmel.
Terrible night for poor people, for the middle class, for
So many lies. It's almost incomprehensible. I can't not interject. The average American made, what was it, $4,000 more when Trump was in office compared to Obama, and then don't get me started on the past 4 years. Yeah, the middle class is basically nearly destroyed by the ineptitudes of the policies of Biden-Harris. So yeah, let's just say the average middle class person should be celebrating and exuberantly happy. But geez, how many more lies can you cram into this?
seniors who rely on Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine.
That might be the one. Why are they our ally again? We are not their top 10 trading partner. I looked into this extensively because I was curious, what's our business relationship with them? Have they ever helped us out? No. So again, he did once say one thing correct. I think Trump's going to stop that, what is it, almost $200 billion we've given the Ukraine for. What have we gotten? I'm still waiting for someone to give me a great justification of why we're sending $200 billion of cash, arms, and as well as physical, tangible things like medical assistance, all that kind of stuff over there. As well as, let's be honest, also private military contractors and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
For NATO, for the truth and democracy and decency. And it was a terrible night for everyone who voted against him. And guess what? It was a bad night for everyone who voted for him, too. You just don't realize it yet.
Oh, no.
Let's.
That's great. Liv's TikTok did the perfect thumbnail for this video. Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, remember NATO, one of the biggest scams of every country, pretty much nearly every country not paying their fair share in their actual contract that they signed. We said they're going to contribute, I believe, 2% of their GDP was going to go towards military spending, and the U.S. was the only one actually doing that. We were basically carrying their weight. They all expected us to protect them when they don't chip in what they said they're going to chip in. I would love to see the business justification for NATO as well. The only thing I can think of in terms of it does help defense contractors facilitate easier sales, perhaps. But and again, that is a big industry in the United States. And if we can sell to other countries, I can understand that in terms of having a positive impact on the U.S. economy. Because again, we're getting other countries to pay for it, and we sell to. I understand that, but is it really worth all the bureaucracy, all the BS? That's debatable, I believe. This went pretty viral. Got 8.9 million views as well as 74,000 likes. And I know this is a couple days after the election, but this stuff never gets old. Now going to the comments, one of the first ones comes from Thick Eggshell, which fascinatingly accurate title. The profile picture is in fact of an egg. And they say, quote, when you find out your propaganda is losing its effect, and it's a screenshot of Jimmy looking, crying, had 9.8 thousand likes. Base Electrician says, this election was terrible for all of us. I'm serious, folks. And you have a screenshot of an empty audience with Jimmy Kimmel left, getting 3.6 thousand likes. Law says, Kimmel used to be a comedian, now he's just a woke female cat. Or no, just cat. Yeah, it's cat. Try to get this moderately family friendly. They got 11,000 likes. The Loft Political guy says it's because he's terrified Trump is releasing the list. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Got 5.9 thousand likes. Jones says Trump saved us twice is a picture of Hillary Clinton as well as Kamala Harris getting 6.5 thousand likes as well. Let's see here. Truth says, hey Jimmy, here are some special TDS tissues getting 303 likes. Wow, Biden looks old in that picture. Weenie Waney says 3 of the sorriest MFers on the planet. This picture of Obama, Kimmel, and Biden. It says Epstein VIP list, getting 737 likes. See here. Nick Roberts says it was a terrible night for decency. Jimmy Kimmel is Jimmy Kimmel in blackface, getting 167 likes. Remember when Jimmy Kimmel was on the Man Show? And now he pretends he's like, oh, I was all pro-woman. He cancels every other comedian except him. Only he can be taboo and make jokes. Kevin Dalton says, I want to open up a Celebrity Tears food truck. And it's like GIF of Cartman from South Park licking. Oh, this takes me back. How many decades ago is this? Got Tetterman's Tears? Getting 283 likes. Although, unlike most students or kids, I never got to see that growing up. I had to wait till age old where I could actually access things on my own. Back in my day, we didn't have no laptops or internet access as a child. Tough times. Almost ancient. I'm jesting, of course. Edwin John says Jimmy Kimmel here. And it says white dudes for Harris. It's 2 guys at a urinal holding hands while their pants are down and around their ankles. Got 152 likes. Let's see. Old School Eddie says he should stick to trying to be funny, getting 350 likes, which that ship has sailed a long time ago. The Patriot Oasis says he is such a beta, getting 480 likes. Yeah. Let's see here. Trying to see if is anyone sticking up for Jimmy. Not seen him thus far. Let's see here. No. Let's see if we do one more here. Clover Levlin says it's not that it's painful for you. Wait, if it's that painful for you, Jimmy, I recommend that you leave the country forever. I hear Iran is hiring comedians. Getting 72 likes. Which, yeah, is he going to move? All these celebrities said, oh yeah, if Trump wins again, I'm going to move. I don't leave the country. Just cliche to say, because no one ever does. I'd actually respect them more if they did stick to their word. Granted, we know they won't. Imagine, I'd support that. Celebrities for Canada, just ship them over that dictating hellhole. With all those moose. Good bad for the nice people in Canada. There's some good citizens, but tyrannical government stealing their rights and trampling all over them. God, I would never want to live there. So, interesting to see Jimmy Kimmel melt down in front of all 18 of his audience members. I'm not sure how many people really tune into Jimmy Kimmel anymore. I mean, granted, I don't have cable myself. I'm not sure it was last time I don't think I was ever really a fan. But let me know in the comments. Do you think anyone will still tune in, just people like Jimmy Kimmel, or do you think we're in that shifting culture where those old school folks are just no longer culturally relevant and they'll just kind of peter out into existence? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have Kathy Griffin is having a meltdown after Trump wins. Now, this also comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, which she says, quote, Kathy Griffin isn't coping well, which I thought this was just Carrot Top on meth. Pardon the drug correlation or reference there, or really inebriated Macaulay Culkin with a wig. But apparently this is Kathy Griffin, who is definitely not aging gracefully, mentally, or physically for that matter. But it's a little bit long, but entertaining, so we'll go ahead and without too much further ado. And I apologize, I should have given you a visual warning. This is visually disgusting. Well, also auditorial-wise as well, but we'll go ahead and dive on in.
I don't think that our beloved country, America, knows what it's in for with a fascistic society and dictator.
Biden?
I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not being dramatic. I have said this on tapes before, but I am shocked and crushed at how many people I personally know did not vote or felt like there was no difference between the candidates or just were too self-involved.
Now that's ridiculous. To say there's no difference between two candidates, that is pretty ridiculous.
To learn anything about it. And that makes me sad.
Oh.
Just because I live in California and have a lot of protections other states don't, doesn't mean there won't be.
Actually, quite the opposite. You're not allowed to own a standard AR-15 in California, yet alone a standard capacity magazine. So actually, you have less protections in California. But I partially digress.
Be a federal ban on abortion, and although I know that's sort of funny,
the greatest lie. Again, they said this for like a year when Trump was running, and he said dozens of times he wouldn't do anything because, again, it's been relegated back to the states. Though, of course, Kamala used it to raise millions of dollars and fool millions of, I don't want to say low IQ people, but people who don't realize the constitutionality of, why it was repealed with Roe versus Wade and why the Supreme Court ruled the way they were, and how, again, if you want to make change, go get some nice cardstock poster board and, peacefully let your opinion be known, do a demonstration or get some signatures or something. But again, it's going to be done on a state level. And yet they all said, oh yeah, it's on the line. Lies.
About abortion, but just being a lifelong feminist, I worry about all of it. And the fact that the boys should be just as worried, because if you're really living in sort of the Trumpian, Christo-fascist, mega church, I think Trump is stopping child trafficking, QAnon world, then if your son gets a girl pregnant and they're both 15, then you, of course, will force that they marry and keep having as many Duggars as possible. So it's going to be a Duggar America, everybody. Remember how that one ended? Okay, you know what? We're going to keep fighting.
It's been decades since we had shotgun weddings. I can't but think, was society better off when you actually forced parents to be parents and not break up for the kid, not break up? Now, apparently, I used the good old, well, I was about to say Google. That's crap. I used Brave. I said, who are Duggars? Duggars are a large family from Arkansas known for their conservative Christian values and large family size. Oh, it's from that TV show, 19 and Counting? Now we know. I watch a lot of reality TV. Laura owned a TV or don't have cable. Interesting. Which, if you've seen the U.S. fertility rate and the global fertility rate, 4 kids that's not a bad thing. But I apologize. We'll get back to the wisdom of Kathy. I can't even say that with a straight face, but I was about to say we're almost done. It's almost halfway if you're very optimistic. Getting there.
And, Trump will crumble. I mean, he's not looking too healthy these days. And then,
coming from Kathy Griffith, she's saying Trump doesn't look healthy. Again, Trump is by no means an Ironman athlete. He's not doing triathlons. But again, guy plays golf every day. It's actually pretty impressive how healthy he is at his age. Now, granted, he could be in better shape, like most of us. But yeah, for her to say that, oh my God.
President Vance will be terrifying and horrible because he's as crazy as Trump, but he's smart. So, and the way things are going in this country, could then get reelected. We could have President Vance for 8 years, which I kind of wish some of my friends had thought about yesterday that weren't voting. So now we're paying the price, and freedom isn't free, and we've been free. And technically, we're still a democracy. The inauguration's going to be a shit show. Remember how crazy his speech was last time? American carnage and all that stuff. Even George W. Bush famously said that was some weird shit. It's going to be weirder and scarier. But I just want to put this out there again. Gays, you may not be safe. So to be gay in America, much less trans, because they're obsessed with trans people.
They're obsessed with it. Not the teachers pushing that in schools. Not California, who's hiding kid transitions from the parents. No. Conservatives are obsessed with that. Right. Yeah, and another thing, look at how homosexual, or gays, homosexual, whatever term you want to use. Yeah, a lot of them there's a fair amount that are conservative and don't like the transitioning of children and the grooming of children. I mean, there's a whole extra profile called Gays Against Groomers. And I think they do some great work. But I was about to say we're almost done. This is I was going to say it's pretty painful, her words, but it's entertaining. We'll get through it together. It is officially more than halfway done.
To be LGBT in America is not going to be a safe thing anymore. So
You tell us.
to be a woman in America will be even less safe than it already is. So take care of each other. Have plans. Make sure you know how to gather support if you're afraid to walk down the street.
What? Afraid to walk down the street. You know what's hilariously disgusting or hypocritical? She's politically from the side that wants to disarm women. Where I'm about the side of, I believe the age-old saying is, God made man, but Samuel L. Colt made man equal. Who, again, Samuel L. Colt is most famously known for the successful patent for the first successful revolver. He had misfires before he actually had that patent in place. Yeah, one side wants to disarm women and force them to be victims. The other wants to give them a tool that will make them equal to anyone who tries to hurt them. Which side cares more about women again?
Get more politically active. Not sure what's going to happen in my lifetime.
Nothing. Oh, I thought she was talking about her personal life.
But the kids will figure it out.
They are. They're based.
And I know this will get me in trouble, but I really, really wish Taylor Swift had done an event with Vice President Harris.
How would that get her in trouble?
In Pennsylvania. 2 months ago. Okay, I just had to say that because she is so powerful, and it's not fair that the weight of the world should be on a pop star's shoulders.
Taylor Swift. So again, I admire her entrepreneurial spirit of creating the swifter, quicker picker upper. Every time I'm at Walmart and I see that little cleaning implement, I think of Taylor Swift. I'm pretty sure that's her side gig. That's why she's actually really a billionaire. I don't think it's because of the music. But yeah, Taylor Swift has made a whole career about picking the wrong man. It is almost hilarious and appropriate that she picked Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
I just did not realize how racist and misogynistic America still is. So,
The rudimentary leftist argument.
we're in this together. Open-minded people that are loving. We're not in it together with the other team that wants to like kill trans people and have more guns in grade schools. Like, no.
Now, more guns, I'm a fan of if it's a qualified teacher. Again, why are public schools in one area where you don't protect the assets? To me, that's ridiculous. One of my favorite solutions, and again, it's not my original idea or anything, but we have a record number. We have a lot of veterans who are unemployed. They need jobs. You know, it'd be great. Put a veteran in front of every single public school. Show the force. Let bad guys know if you try anything, you are making it more than 2 feet out of that campus. You'll be ended immediately. Worked for a lot of the Israeli schools. They used to be attacked constantly. They put a guy out there with an Uzi, famous Israeli weapon, and guess what? They're not messing with it anymore. It's a proven solution. Copy paste it. Let's do it. I partially digress.
But we like-minded folks just want a peaceful, healthy, progressive country.
From the side that caused $2.3 billion of damage during the George Floyd Summer of Love riots.
And we will keep doing what we have to do to keep it alive, even though it looks a little dark today. All right. Love you guys.
Hooray, it's done. I was gonna say, she would make an exceptional actress for like a clown movie. Like a killer clown movie. Is that called? I think that's It, right? Yeah. Kathy Griffin. Still somehow culturally relevant. Again, I don't know how many votes she swayed one way or the other. But again, it's been pretty valid. Got 4.7 million views as well as 30,000 likes. One of the first comments coming from, oh, it's disappointing. Planet of memes, but they did not, in fact, respond in meme form. Says, quote, Carrot Top is looking rough, getting 4.1 thousand likes. Paul Zupa says, anyone know, oh wow, anyone know if she's had any work done? Getting 853 likes, which, she's probably keeping plastic surgery companies in business at this rate. Based Electrician says, quote, can anyone here translate this deranged woke woman 15 White Claws deep? Is a screenshot of her looking inebriated, which, granted, if you take a screenshot of anyone on video, you'll find an awkward frame. Or if it's like me, most of the frames are awkward anyway, so it's quite easy. Now, that did get 735 likes. Citizen says, is she transitioning? No likes, but interesting. Bruce Bilal says, what in Michelle Obama's foreskin is wrong with her? Getting 3.4 thousand likes. David Welsh says, okay, Carrot Top, seek help. It says, have you or a loved one suffered from TDS, also known as Trump Derangement Syndrome? You may be entitled to financial compensation. Here's a picture of Kathy. Yeah, she's after her surgeries or something. Looks quite horrifying. Getting 2.6 thousand likes. Brano says she's so cooked, and she says this is the end of democracy. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not being dramatic. And the trad guy says you're being an idiot. Getting 1.3 thousand likes. Crypto King says, quote, why do these Hollywood elites all look mid-transition? Getting 2.7 thousand likes. Yeah, I suspect it's all the plastic surgery. It's Gundam says Herman Munster has fallen into hard times. Getting 1.9 thousand likes. Sherry Curry says, that's her? I wonder how much of it costs. She should have taken her filler lips elsewhere. We've had enough of rich celebrities telling us to suffer. Her and her remodeling face. Getting 1.9 thousand likes. Fizno says she's using a filter. This is what she really looks like. And oh dear God. Yeah, it's like Macaulay Culkin taking more drugs than he ever has before. Or just never stopping. Got 613 likes. Ginger says the filter didn't work on her face, on her neck rather. Yeah, it's got all right. And again, I'm not going to diss her for that. As everyone gets older, you inevitably have some wrinkles everywhere. But yeah, it's funny that she has a filter, but she didn't extend it to that body part, I suppose. It did get 507 likes. The gorilla says, quote, no one will ever convince me that's not a man. What's it say? Anderson's brother? Get 467 likes. Tracy Nelson says, I'm so out of the loop. I thought that was Carrot Top. Getting 439 likes, which, semblance is uncanny. Oh, dear God. This social space says, wow, she looks a lot better than she did 6 years ago. Scary. Which, well, yeah, thanks to the filter, I think. Which, yeah, in comparison, yeah, I guess. 226 likes for that comment. Let's see. Wow, this is an old picture of her and Trump. How many decades ago was that? So this is from Suzanne says Kathy Griffin isn't coping well because, like the rest of the vile, deranged, corrupt, and pathetic, her life is a lie. Getting 665 likes. The Destructor says, quote, this woman is cooked, a straight lunatic that should be in a padded room. And I forgot about that stunt she did a couple years ago where she had a, well, you see on the screen here, but she had a decapitated, like a Trump head and blood, signifying that she cut it off. She was trying to be edgy, she says, and totally wasn't a threat. I got 653 likes for that. Yeah, somehow she's, again, I'm not sure how many people really think she's culturally relevant, or I think we're going to see, oh, this is kind of funny. So it says how it started, how it's ended, is Trump and her searching spaces, how he's holding her head, which, again, I don't even think Trump thinks about her 1 second of the day. I think that's probably most of her day, though, how it's spent. But let me know, do you think all these old school celebrities or has-been celebrities, do you think they're still culturally relevant? Were people swayed to vote one way or another because of them? And do you think, it's just going to kind of move on to other things? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have the Bellwether curve showing the 2020 election being the one major outlier, making everyone think, gee, that's a coincidence. Was it perhaps stolen? Now this comes to us thanks to End Wokeness, who says, quote, Bellwether county winner versus winner of the election. Spot the odd one out. It goes all the way back to 1984, in which Reagan won every one and got 100%. In 1988, got Bush winning everything except for, Sargent and Blaine County, getting 83%. 1992, Clinton won everything except for Kent and got 94%. 1996, Clinton won everything, 100%. 2000, Bush won all the counties, 100%. 2004, Bush won all the counties except for New Hampshire County, getting 94%. 2008, Obama won every county except for Darlington, South Carolina, getting 94%. 2012, Obama won every county, 100%. 2016, Trump won all the counties, getting 100%. 2020, Trump won every single county except for one, and he got 6%. And in 2024, Trump won a majority of counties and 80%. Yeah, there's that one outlier where, the odds of winning was like 6%, and yet Biden still won in 2020. Yeah, that's an interesting coincidence. Every other year it predicted it accurately. That 1 year. Interesting. Now, one of the top comments comes from Paul Zazupa saying, quote, 2020 was the most secure election in U.S. history for cheaters, getting 99 likes. Wall Street Ape says it's called treason. They stole the 2020 election, but now we control it all. Time for a deep dive into investigation to East State election fraud. Lots of Democrats need to be going to prison. I'd hate to be Gavin Newsom right now in the rigging the crap out of California, getting 972 likes. Let's see here. Zeno says Democrats stole the 2020 election original post. This is an original posted by Nathan Hughes saying Obama got 69 million votes, Kamala got 68 million votes, but they want us to believe that Joe Biden somehow got 81 million votes and won despite losing nearly every Bellwether county. Which, that's to me the biggest red flag. Is Biden more persuasive, compelling, or does he excite more people to vote than Obama? No, I mean, even I didn't agree with the policies Obama had. He was one of the best public speakers out there. And he captivated a huge audience and convinced a lot of people to vote for him. And yet, we're supposed to believe Biden got more votes than Obama. Again, Biden got 81 million votes. Obama got 69 million. Yeah, I don't think anyone believes that shit. Going down more and more. Machiavelli says it was too big to rig this time. In 2020, you see all the votes that are coming in, and then again at 3 in the morning, bam, it went up and Biden won. In 2024, you saw the nice curve of all the Republican votes coming in, and you also had that bam, but it wasn't enough to have this time Harris win, getting 587 for that one. Anti-left memes did, A+ for marketing continued. They did in fact respond in meme form. Says, quote, "We are overdue for election integrity." Says the little meme says, quote, "One day, one vote, one paper, in person, no machines, valid voter ID, repost if you agree," getting 102, let's make it 103 likes. Which, yeah, it's still quite horrifying. Some states don't actually require that. And some states make it illegal to actually make a law to have a... It's almost, I'm so flabbergasted, it's almost incomprehensible how inept or corrupt California is. Gavin Newsom signed a law saying, oh yeah, counties can't require you to show an ID to vote. Because again, there are some conservative counties in California that wanted to pass, they're passing those laws, trying to secure elections. Gavin's like, oh no, can't have that. Now, Florida 1 says, quote, 2012 and 2016, Democrats had 65 million votes. 2020, Democrats had 81 million votes. 2024, back to 65 million votes. Something odd happened in 2020, it seems. In 47, let's make it 48 likes. Let's see, scrolling down more and more. Michael Francisco says, last 4 years, we are just enduring based on the Soviet election. AI generated a picture of Donald Trump flooding the swamp. Scrolling down more and more. Jakey says the government is corrupt, getting 21 likes. The drunk idiot says stolen elections have consequences, getting 24 likes. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see if anyone actually investigates it or gets to the bottom of it. High Plains Drifter says stolen, says the big lie, and I love getting down the statistics. So Obama had 69 million votes, won 873 counties, 1819 Bellwether, won Florida, Ohio, Iowa, won House seats. Trump got 74 million votes, 2,497 counties, 1819 Bellwether, won Florida, Ohio, Iowa, won House seats. Biden it says Trump massive turnouts, Biden didn't campaign, got 81 million votes, 477 counties, 1 out of 19 Bellwether, lost Florida, Ohio, Iowa, lost House seats. So it's a very big statistical outlier. Pretty suspicious. But it was safe and effective. I mean, not stolen is what they were saying. Let's see. It was totally safe. It was totally a fair election. So this is going pretty viral. We'll see if this actually, if anyone is actually held accountable, if they actually do investigation, show that is able to prove this successfully. And I'm pretty skeptical about the government doing anything right these days. But let me know in the comments. Do you think they'll get to the bottom of this, get some concrete evidence, surmount an actual case? Let me know, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, the New York Mayor ending the vouchers for illegals as the Trump victory seems to have more of a multiplier effect. Now this comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, which she says, quote, breaking, following the Trump victory, New York City Mayor announced he's ending food vouchers for illegals. Which, yeah, it seems like our tax dollars go to everything except U.S. citizens these days. Again, I still can't believe $200 billion for Ukraine. Actually, we're not even the top 10 trading partner, but I partially digress and get back on track.
News, the mayor just announced that the city will no longer issue vouchers to migrants to pay for food, ending a controversial program that had repeatedly come under attack by conservatives and others.
This pilot program in New York City, drenched in both humanity and controversy, distributed debit cards to migrant families staying in city-funded hotels and allowing...
It was about $750 per hotel room per night. It was a lot of money.
...them to buy their own food. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger following the breaking news for us.
This is thanks to ABC7.
Josh?
Well, Bill, it's a program that, as you say, generated plenty of controversy, but now its absence may raise even more questions. The so-called Immediate Response Cards pilot program was designed to help feed migrant families who'd found themselves in New York with no way to afford food. The one-year contract provided what the city described as culturally relevant food to 2,600 migrant families, allowing them to basically buy what they wanted. A family of 4 with two kids under 5 got about $350 per week to cover food in a program the city said would actually save taxpayers millions a year.
Bullshit.
It also reduced food waste. You may remember
save taxpayer dollars by spending money on people who aren't allowed to be here by breaking the law. Yeah, you want to save us money? A secure border. That would save us a lot more money. Oh yeah, I love that. It'll save us money.
Food the city had been providing in migrant shelters was seen as not culturally sensitive to the need.
Who gives a shit? Pardon the French, but you're coming to our country. Part of it is about assimilation. Sure, I love my mom's beans and rice every once in a while, but part of coming to America is becoming American. And if you're getting free stuff, it shouldn't be tailored towards you. Again, if you're on your own budget, yeah, you make whatever the hell you want. And again, there are communities that cater towards, I mean, you have Little Italy, you have Chinatown. You do have areas where you're going to take your dollar, or take our dollars and go there and shop there too. But yeah, in terms of, oh yeah, we need to have culture, you need to give them cash so they can do that. Again, they're coming here. Why not use the bulk food that we have at these places if we are going to feed them at all?
Needs of some migrant groups, and it ended up just going to waste. For more than a year, the city was groaning under the weight of more than 200,000 asylum seekers. Officials say the migrant population has actually reduced lately. In fact, a massive shelter on Roosevelt Island is in the process of closing. In the meantime, Mayor Adams spoke on the phone yesterday with President-elect Donald Trump, who had vowed during his campaign to mass deport migrants. Aside from congratulating him on his win, though, Adams today would not say what they discussed.
And this one pretty well got 6.3 million views as well as 123,000 likes. One of the first comments coming from Planet of Memes, F- stuff for marketing. They did not in fact respond in meme form, but just text. Nevertheless, this alleged Planet of Memes says, quote, this dude isn't even president yet and he's already forcing changes all over the place, getting 8.3 thousand likes. While Zazupa says, quote, now deport them all, getting 403 likes. Based Electrician says, quote, Trump is fixing the country from his couch, getting 904 likes. I appreciate that, but I think a more funny thing would be he's fixing it from the golf green, though these days I'm sure he's too busy for golf at the moment. American Papa Bear says, quote, time to course correct, getting 303 likes. Thick Eggshell says, interesting, what changed? I think Trump's going to bring a lot of oversight and start saying, well, hey, your state gets federal tax dollars for XYZ. Why are you, because again, money is fungible, why are you giving resources to people who aren't supposed to be here? Fair question to ask. Scrolling down more and more. You have the Franzor memes, but they did not respond in meme form. What is with these profiles today? Saying, quote, the winning doesn't stop, getting 1.8 thousand likes. Elon Muskle, who's looks like a funny parody account, says, quote, Trump hasn't even done anything yet as president and the country is already healing, getting 2.3 thousand likes. Another profile by the name of Mike Ray says, time to send them to Massachusetts since the government wants them wants them in America, getting 1.2 thousand likes. Which, Quits Ed says, he said per week, so a family of four gets roughly $1,500 a month just for food. That's ridiculous. My brother, who is ruled disabled by a judge, was given $900 to live on with $100 for food a month. He's been living on that same amount for years, getting 2,000 likes, which another trend you see is illegals getting more benefits than natural citizens. Lord only knows why we pay taxes these days. Machiavelli says, no more money for illegals and deport them all, getting 4.9 thousand likes. Janita Broderick says, quote, hallelujah, way to go, getting 1.9 thousand likes. I think we're going to see this more and more, especially as I really hope Vivek helps just take a chainsaw to the U.S. federal budget and start looking at all the money we waste these days. I think part of some of the variables are going to weigh in terms of giving states resources allocations is what's the percentage of your state's taxpayer money going to illegals versus citizens? How much of that money is actually being used well or wisely? Another great question to ask. I think perhaps this will be the year of fiscal responsibility. Lord knows we need it. So almost $36 trillion in debt from a federal perspective. The ineptitudes of, yes, the left and the right spending more money than ever before. And we need to reel in all that money we're wasting and eventually, get out of debt. We might have to sell off something useless like Hawaii, maybe. I'm only partially kidding. They contribute a lot to society in research, development, innovation, and manufacturing. Oh, wait, they don't. Economic pun. They are mostly tourism dollars. But I partially digress. Let me know, do you think these states will actually start to spend less money on illegals and more for American citizens? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Optics Planet yet again nosediving in quality of service. Now, let me know in the comments if you think this is annoying, but lately I've been sharing my personal experiences with business blunders. I usually cover major recalls and that type of sorts. But for me, having negative experiences in terms of businesses is pretty rare, since I'm usually pretty forgiving. And in terms of what I buy, if it's not food or water directly correlated to my businesses or accomplishing a business goal, it's pretty much just food and water, is nothing. But that's perhaps why I'm so irate. And I guess for a lot of people, it might not seem like a lot of money, but to me, buying a TridgeCon RMR is a pretty penny. It took me quite some time to save up for it. They cost about $500. If you don't know what they are, it's a TridgeCon's manufacturer, and it's this high-end red dot. It's definitely more premium price. It's made in USA. You're paying a premium for that. And Optics Planet, even though I paid, for premium price, I even paid for expedited shipping. They shipped me a used product, which, yeah, and again, it did work. I mean, it's a TridgeCon. It's going to work like a champ, even if it is used. But I was not happy paying for a new product, getting one that's clearly used. You could see the wear and tear on the body of the actual optic. So I reached out and see, could this be fixed? What can you do for me? And one of the first issues was the phone support, which, yeah, one of my favorite stories that comes to customer service is Amazon. Jeff Bezos was in a meeting a couple years ago, way back in the day, and they're talking about, what's the speed for customer, getting a customer, facilitated their needs, get someone on the phone for them. For those who don't want the internet chat, they want a phone chat. And some of the room said, oh, Jeff, we're doing great. We get an Amazon employee on the phone with customer in sub 1 minute, which that is really good. I think there's very few companies can accomplish that because, again, call volume, and it's not an easy thing. And Jeff Bezos goes, great, who measured that? He basically saying, can you prove it? And the guy got kind of queasy, and Jeff goes, all right. So Jeff Bezos takes out his phone, calls Amazon customer service. It's awkward. 1 minute goes by. It's awkward. 2 minutes go by. 3 minutes go by. Awkward silence. Nice hold music, actually, I suppose. 4 minutes. It wasn't until like 6 minutes, and then Amazon employee picks up the phone and goes, hey, welcome to Amazon customer service. Who is this? And Jeff goes, oh, this is Jeff Bezos. And again, he was cool about it to the employee, but he basically looked, gave a death stare to the actual Amazon executive who lied about the statistic. And yeah, shortly that employee was no longer with the company. Because, yeah, not a smart thing to lie to management, as well as inflating your numbers, or in this case, deflating, because, again, it's like golf. You want a shorter metric. Now, with Optics Planet, it took me, I think it was about 6.5, 7 minutes to get someone on the phone. Now, granted, I'm multitasking. I got 3 monitors in front of me when I'm working, so it's not that big of a deal, but I was a little irate about that. And the really disappointing thing was the timing, in terms of how long it'll take for them to fix a situation. And this is something that's very common on the internet. I mean, there are whole forums on Reddit dedicated to, it's quite literally called Optics Planet Sucks. Again, I had one good experience with them years ago, and they have an online website that makes it look like they have everything. The rumor is they actually don't, because it takes so long for them to ship products. So there's a lot of speculation on that regard. But to me, one of the most annoying things was, okay, they said, okay, ship this, print this label out, and you'll ship it back to us, and we'll process it, and we'll get you a new one. So again, in terms of returning it, very similar to Amazon e-commerce, where and again, Optics Planet didn't charge me to ship it back, so I guess it could have been worse. They gave you a free shipping label, you slap it on a box, and you ship it out. Now, to me, one of the most annoying things was, again, the manipulation of definitions and timing, because I shipped it out, or more accurately, dropped it off at the shipping store. And they go, oh yeah, we got it here today. It'll take us 3 days to process it. And then after that, only then does your clock start in terms of you paying for shipping. Then it'll take, 3 to 5 days. Which again, this is first world problems. It's very inconsequential. But to me, it's poor customer service. And I asked him, like, hey, I mean, I'm pretty disappointed. I was planning on, taking this with a prospective client out, basically having fun at the range. Is there any way you could help me out? Maybe get me, maybe compliment me, like, expedited shipping. And because I was asking, like, I mean, it's going to take you basically, I ordered this like October 28th, and I'm going to get it November, what date do they say it by? By about November 15th. And he said, oh, well, if you pay for expedited shipping, you get it within, 24, 48 hours. And of course, I think they quoted me like $80, which to me, that was I'm not paying for that. I don't need it tomorrow. The event is already done. But I asked him, well, and I wasn't asking for a discount or anything. I valued quicker shipping was a thing in that moment that I had a great value upon. And he still didn't apologize for, again, selling me a used product. They're an authorized reseller for TridgeCon. They should be held to very high standards. And yet they shipped me clearly a used product. It wasn't until, I started poking. I had to ask him a little bit, like, well, what can you do for me? I mean, guys, I was not bombastic, but I was a little abrasive. I was like, you guys didn't even apologize for inconvenience me for the situation or comping me in any way. And he goes, oh, no, there's nothing you can do. And I'm like, so, and again, I didn't blame the employee. I told him, hey, this situation sucks. I don't blame you. I think your management is terrible. They have not given you the tools to empower you to do anything. Because again, you know what Amazon would do, and again, I'm not a fan of big tech, but Amazon, yeah, customer service basically second to none. Amazon would have copped that shipping and got it overnight to me immediately. Maybe I'm being a little too entitled to expect that. I was at least expecting him to acknowledge the situation, and later he did eventually say, "Yeah, I just can't do anything. I'm sorry." And again, it's not the phone rep's problem. Management is not giving him the tools to succeed and facilitate a good customer interaction. And again, this is, I think, the thing about me that really annoys me the most is this is a standard, like, I don't like the color of this paint job, or I don't like this, I no longer need this item. They ship me a used product, and yet they're still slow to ship it. It takes 3 days to process it, which, come on, I don't know if they need to hire more employees or how it could possibly take 3 days to process this. But any other e-commerce platform would have handled it better. And again, Amazon very famously gives the tools to employees to facilitate things to make the situation better, whether it's a little freebie, you know, faster shipping, which to me that would have been, again, it's one of those things where statistically, e-commerce retail is tough. On average, if you have a great experience, you'll tell about 1 to 2 people. I think it's 1.4 people on average. If you have a bad experience, statistically speaking, you'll tell about 7 people about it if you have a negative experience with a shopping place. Obviously, that statistic is going to be inflated today. I only partially jest. But, I mean, I just look at all the competition, and, I mean, I love Brownells. They're still family-owned. They're headquartered in Iowa. The only reason I didn't go with them is because they didn't have a specific exact optic that I wanted, which is why I went with Optics Planet, which, again, has mixed results at best when you look at online reviews. But in this case, the business blunder is not the employee. Again, he did a great job in terms of he looked at my order number, he looked at the history, and I filled him in on the situation about, you know, why I was returning it. That should have been on a screen. I blame their CRM or maybe their tool that they're using for tracking. But the business blunder is not giving your employees the tools needed to succeed. And shoot, I don't know if Americans love free shit. Maybe there should be a thing where he can just send me, like, or not me, like, he send people like, hey, you know, here's some stickers and a thank you card or like a $5 gift card. Something either tangible or intangible to show that they want to retain you as a customer. They actually care about you long term. Because, I mean, after this, why would I ever shop there again? Again, I ordered it over 2 weeks ago. They sent me a used product, but charged me full price for a new one. Again, that's how it was advertised on the website. I mean, why would I ever shop there again? Now, granted, in terms of, do I matter as a customer at Optics Planet? No. I mean, I'm pretty frugal. I buy something in terms of, like, high-end quality, things like that. I think the last purchase I made with them about 10 years ago. But again, historically speaking, the older you get, the more income you have, the more wealth you generate, and usually the more fun toys you buy. I mean, as I get up in age and as my businesses grow, I'll probably buy a couple more fun knickknacks when it comes to firearm accessories. And that they didn't care about that equation, or really, I don't think they were honest or did the right thing in this situation. And management, again, I asked the employee, like, I try to be as polite as possible in the situation. Obviously I'm human, I could have done better. But I just asked the guy straight, like, is there anything you have the power to do to, you know, help me out or get this to me faster? And no, he just kept saying you can pay for overnight shipping, but even then we can't guarantee it'll be overnight. It might be 48 hours, which, and again, I think it was 80 or 90 or $100. It was a lot of money for shipping. And again, if you're an e-commerce platform, it's not like you and I go to the shipping store. They get discounts for doing things in bulk, which makes sense. Like most things in life, you get a discount for bulk, but a lot of them get a lot of profit off of shipping as well. Amazon also has free shipping in optics. Now, that being said, Amazon has some issues with counterfeits. You have to make sure you're buying it from a reputable reseller on the platform. But, I mean, at this point, why would I ever shop at Optics Planet again? And I feel bad for employees. It's not a happy job there. You got a lot of disgruntled customers, and management hasn't given them the tools. And I apologize if I'm rambling a little bit more than usual. This part of the show, this segment is a little bit more free flow than usual. And let me know, do you want to hear more personal experiences? Again, these anecdotal experiences are pretty, it's going to be a really small sample size. I won't be able to do it very often because, again, I really don't buy a lot of things unless it's food or water for the business. I'm pretty frugal in general. I mean, but let me know in the comments if that's something you might be interested in. I can look into that. But I got to say, Optics Planet, not enabling your employees to help in any way and really acknowledge the situation, or I got to say, certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some direct feedback, letting me know I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, and fight the good fight.